What's happening, guys? And it is the day after the Champions League semi-final. PSG beating Arsenal. Arsenal out of the Champions League. Out with an absolute whimper. I did give my immediate reaction straight after the match. And after analysing it, thinking about it, having loads of discussions with people, other fans, friends, I'm going to give you what I think. So, it was a two-legged affair. We messed it up at the Emirates because they won 1-0. It was a pathetic performance by the Gunners at the Emirates. Going to the Parc de France, the odds were always going to be against Arsenal. It was always going to be a mountain to climb. To be fair, Arsenal started off really well. Donnarumma with like 3 big saves. Declan Rice should have scored that header. And Arsenal were at it, mate. Like, the press was good. Martinelli had Hakimi on toast. Saka was on it. I think the left-back, Pacho, he was struggling to contain Saka. He got booked. He was on the yellow card early in the game. Odegaard was playing well. You know, and they were struggling to cope with the physicality and the press PSG. I felt that PSG didn't really know whether to try and get the second goal or to try and hold out, or whether, you know, the tempo of Arsenal's play sort of took them by surprise. You know, Arsenal were getting corners, Arsenal were getting free kicks. And then I noticed that, you know, when we had throw-ins, Thomas Partey would always come and take them, you know, doing the long throw-in, sort of like Stoke, Delap. You know, I mean, Rory Delap used to do that with the throw-ins. And yeah, listen, it worked for 20 minutes. And then you sort of fear, because then you think, all right, Donnarumma's on, he's on one. He's the best goalkeeper in the world right now, without question. You know, he's an absolute phenomenon. And you cannot be wasteful like that in the Champions League semi-final at that level. So they started to get control of the ball. Neves, Fertitta, Hakimi was getting into it. Ruiz was getting into it. Their front three, Barcola, Doué, Kvaratskhelia, they were getting into it. They started to make things happen. The movements, the nice little intricate passing and triangles. And boom, Ruiz scores. Lovely volley, little deflection, took it away from Raya, scores to make it 1-0, 2-0 on aggregate. And then Arsenal, after that first 20 minutes, it was pretty shit. It was pretty rubbish. And I was looking and thinking, all right, let's try and switch it up. You know, come on, Arteta, let's switch it up. Let's do something else. It was just so predictable. Odegaard trying to get the ball to Saka. Martinelli, after the first 20 minutes, wasn't really doing much anymore. Declan Rice was struggling to impose himself on the game. And you know, what can I say? It was a very underwhelming performance for a second leg semi-final to get into this to the final of the Champions League. There wasn't any risk taking. There wasn't much risk taking. And then, you know, again, so the second half happens now, and Arsenal started off very poorly. PSG controlling the game, and then they get a penalty. People say it was harsh, but the letter of the law was a penalty. And I think Fertitta missed. It was like a slow step up. He missed the penalty, tried to place it in the corner. Very poor penalty. Raya saved it. And then Hakimi scores. Lovely finish from Hakimi. Sweeps it into the far post. So that makes it, what? For a 2-0, 3-0 on aggregate. So then I'm thinking, I'm in the pub, I'm on the IPA, I'm on the lager, and I'm chatting, you know, we're all Arsenal fans in there, we're chatting, and I'm thinking, all right, get some defenders off and get Sterling and Ranieri on. Yeah, I know Sterling's not been tearing up any trees, he's been poor, But at least if the ball falls, he can finish. You know, he could do something, run at him. I don't know. He'll be up for it. You know what I mean? He's an attacker. Whatever. What's there to lose? 3-0 down. 2 on aggregate. 2-0 down on the night. All right. So Saka scores. Makes it 2-1. And then I'm saying, boom, lovely. Get some more attackers on. There's 15 minutes to go. Lewis Skelly comes off. He brings on Calafiori. I'm thinking, hold on a minute. Why are you bringing on defenders? Yeah. Why are you bringing on defenders? And then Saka misses pretty much an open goal. But I'm not gonna tear Saka up because he played well. He missed an open goal, went over the bar, and I was just on the floor in the pub. I was shocked. And then he brings on Ben White for Timber. I'm thinking, why are you not bringing on Ethan Ranieri? When he brought on Ben White for Timber, I almost spilt my pint. I was so shocked. Ethan Ranieri is a fantastic young player. He's done well this season when he's been called upon. The time when Saka was injured, he was fantastic. He's proved himself that he can play at this level. He scored in the Champions League. And for Arteta to bring on a defender instead of an attacker, young, hungry, fast, strong, supremely talented, I couldn't believe it. I dropped my pint. I felt like just dropping my pint. I thought, what sort of, just forget about tactics, formations, just go for it. What's there to lose? You saw with Inter Milan and Barcelona the game before, tactics went out the window. They were just going for it, you know, like two fighters throwing punches, going for it. And Arteta brought on defenders. When you're trying to get goals, you're behind and you're trying to claw back the match, get into the final, and he brings on defenders. He should have brought off Lewis Skelly if he was tiring and Timber, and he should have brought on Sterling and Ranieri, put Partey with centre-back with Kivior and Saliba, 3 at the back, and just go for it. Forget formation, just say, listen lads, go, try and score, take shots, make things happen, lump the ball up, take players on. You've got nothing to lose. How? Why would you bring on centre backs / right backs when you're chasing goals? You need 2 goals to level it up, to take it to extra time. I was absolutely gobsmacked. So I looked at it and I thought, this is the most insane management. I can't even... Please in the comments, give me a reason, a logical reason why it makes sense. Even Gareth Southgate would be more proactive, would be more positive in his substitutions. He would just chuck on, a Gordon, to try and get a goal for England, you know what I mean? Or other attackers that he would have. I don't know, whatever. He would chuck on strikers to try and get the goal back. But Arteta was putting on defenders when they needed 2 goals. I mean, I couldn't believe it. And again, the last 10 minutes was nothing, out with an absolute whimper. It was shambles. It was awful. And then the press conference, he came out, some of his quotes, he said that Arsenal were a better team over 2 legs, and in this game he said that Donnarumma was the reason and the difference why PSG made it through because of his performances. When he's a top keeper, and may I say Raya made some top saves also. He said that the PSG bench said that Arsenal were the better team, which when the journalists asked Enrique refuted that and said, no, that is not true. He didn't say that. PSG were the better team because goals is what win games, and they scored more goals. So he's getting to the point where he's talking absolute crap. He's making up lies. He's embarrassing himself. He's delusional, and it's embarrassing. And I'm watching TalkSport. I'm watching O'Hara and Cundy on TalkSport, and fans are calling in, and the quotes Arteta's coming up with. He's come up with some completely obscene things this season. Obscene, blaming the Carabao Cup ball, saying also blaming injuries, all sorts of excuses, never taking the blame. It has been absolutely shambles. Like I said, the Premier League has been shambolic. 13 draws, 21 points lost from winning positions, only 67 points. 15 points off Liverpool, 7 points off 7th Aston Villa. We're closer to 7th than we are to the champions. It's been rubbish in the Premier League. It's been pathetic. Injuries or not, everyone's had injuries. Everyone's had problems. We need to stop leaning on excuses. And this manager is one of the biggest excuse makers. The arrogance of the guy is absolutely ridiculous, and he's not even won anything. He's not even achieved anything. He's trying to fake it to make it. He's a B-Tech Pep. And I just want to say this. Obviously, people are Arteta in and Arteta out. I don't understand why there's a debate. I don't understand why there's so much division within the fan base. I think, I want to say it, I've said it many times, he's obviously a competent manager. But there's levels. There's levels. He's a competent manager. Of that, there's no doubt. Of that, there's no doubt. But is he... It depends what you want. Arsenal are a club who win. We're the third most successful club in Britain, in the English League. We have a winning history. We have a winning heritage. This guy is not installing that heritage of winning. He's installing a heritage of excuse making, being a bad loser, and mediocrity. The tactics of yesterday's game were worrying. We've gone from scintillating football to a set-piece coach being one of our most recognisable figures, because we score a lot from set pieces. And may I say, we concede a lot from set pieces also. So he's not doing his job in that respect. He's turning us into prime Stoke. He had Partey doing long throw-ons like Rory Delap in the Stoke days. In a Champions League semi-final. That was his main tactic. Corners and throw-ons and set pieces. I mean, and I'm not making it up. This is all factual and is clear for all of us to see. Now, wherever you are on the Arteta in, Arteta out, whether you like him, whether you don't, whether you think he's good enough, whether you do not. I don't dislike the guy. I think he's arrogant. I think he talks a lot of rubbish, which is been factually proven. I think he's not good enough, which to this date has been proven correctly. He didn't want a striker. He likes these hybrid players. This team that he currently has, he has moulded in his image. He's got rid of the players that won him the FA Cup. They're all gone. And this team is in his image. This is his team. So, he might be good enough to get Arsenal to this level. But he might not. And I don't think he is good enough to get Arsenal to champion level. And big clubs make big decisions. Chelsea have sacked managers for less. Manchester City have got rid of managers. Real Madrid, Barcelona, so on and so forth. Liverpool got rid of Brendan Rodgers. He almost won them the league. He fell off, and they got rid of Jurgen Klopp. Now, I believe that Arteta is a manager not at the top table. He sits at the second table. He's a mid-tier manager, not a top manager. He's a mid-tier manager, barely. He's in that sort of bracket with a Rodgers or a Southgate. He's tactically very, very rigid and very, very defensive. That should worry people that he brought on defenders instead of strikers yesterday. That should worry people. And please comment what you think of that. So, we should not be arguing as a fan base about if Arteta is good enough. He ain't going to be here forever. He will go eventually, whether he goes on his own accord or he is sacked. So having such an attachment to the guy is not logical. He's been paid very handsomely to do a job, the second highest paid manager in the world. And if he's paid to that level, he must deliver silverware. He must. All of this project and phases and all this, it ain't enough. He's been paid more than winning managers, so he must win. He must win. So the way I look at it, from a logical point of view, I don't dislike him, but he's not doing the job he's supposed to be doing. And he's not capable of doing it. Whether how much you guys out there might like him or think he's amazing or think he's going to deliver, I'm sorry to say, it ain't going to happen. Because all of the evidence that I've seen from his tenure from the start, everyone says, oh, he started off, we were in the bin. According to my, I think the picture, I've got it here. I think when he took over, we were ninth. We were ninth when he took over. Yeah, we were ninth and we had 22 points and we were 7 points off fourth. Chelsea had 29 points. So we weren't really that bad. We're 16 games into the season. You know what I mean? Emery didn't have the chance to turn it round. That's another discussion. So when people say, oh, we was in the bin. Listen, we just came from a Europa League final and we were 7 points off top four, not even halfway into the season. Not that bad, really. We were pretty much where we were at that time. And then, you know, his point totals for the first 2, 3 seasons were pretty low. 8th, 5th, I think. So, you know, and then he gets big money, the Declan Rice money, then he takes us to second, then now who knows where we're going to end up. It depends on these last 3 games. So, I think there needs to be a logical, I think people need to think logically. Rationally. Take the emotions out. He ain't going to be here forever anyway. He's going to walk or he's going to get sacked. At the moment, he's failing. Whether you like it or not. I wanted him to succeed yesterday. I was hoping, I was there, please, get to the final. Let's win this champion. But he fell short again. So he has a job to do. And whether or not he's good enough to do that job, I don't think he is. And whether, as much as you might like him and, you know, have your opinion on him and your views on him, the reality is he's not showed that he's capable enough, that he's a good enough manager enough to make Arsenal win. And that's just the way it is to this point. Is that going to change next season after he gets the transfers and the players? That remains to be seen. That remains to be seen. But that's how I look at things at this precise moment in time. That's how I see it. And like I said, I have nothing personal against him. I just see things for what they are. Factually, logically, rationally. I look at what the information that I've been presented from his tenure to now and all of the failures, his semi-final failures, his domestic failures, all of the bottling, the excuse making, some of the mad comments he's coming out with in the media. He is not our Klopp. I said it on social media. Arteta is our Brendan Rodgers. He'll take us there. We need to get our Klopp, who will take us to the top table, champions, challenging every season for different titles like Klopp did. for Liverpool. We need to get our Klopp. And I believe our Klopp is Massimiliano Allegri. It doesn't matter what I believe. It matters what the board at Arsenal want to do. But listen, we have 3 more games. Let's see if we can secure a top 5 finish. I will be back very soon for my preview of Liverpool versus Arsenal Super Sunday. So, sorry for this long video. There were just certain things that I wanted to say, and the short video wouldn't have been long enough to get this video out there. So, I hope you enjoyed it if you stayed long enough. All that good stuff. Like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. I really, really appreciate it. And I will see you very, very soon. Peace.